And hello, and welcome to solo playthroughs. I think my voice cracked there. You know, puberty is a thing at 41. So I'm sure some of you also noticed that briefly it said, "Thanks for watching." Yeah, I hit the wrong scene. So yeah, the live stream hadn't started yet, so you weren't going nuts. A mess as we can tell already. So here we go with the Carnevale of Horrors with Jenny Barnes, and for some of you people who have been with me for a while, you will know that Jenny Barnes has a special place in my heart because Jenny Barnes was really the first thing I featured on this channel. I mean, I did an Arkham LCG playthrough of the Forgotten Age campaign with Jenny Barnes. And yeah, it was super fun. I mean, that goes back a day. Those videos are objectively pretty terrible, subjectively pretty meaningful to me. So yeah, I learned a lot, and it was a good time and had to start somewhere. Really thought Arkham LCG was going to be the primary game I featured on this channel, and just kind of time went, and other games kind of took the lead for both me personally and the channel as well, and happy to have adjusted based on how things kind of progressed. Plus there's a ton of really good Arkham LCG channels out there for anyone who wants to do that kind of sort of thing, and hopefully appreciate my occasional foray into the Arkham LCG world. So Carnival Horrors, what is that? Well, we are doing the side scenario cycle. So we're doing all the rogues. I'm going to take a different rogue from each of the deluxe expansion boxes, and every time I come back to the Arkham LCG, we're going to be doing a playthrough of one of the side scenarios, right? So we did a playthrough of Curse of the Rougarou with Skids. Now we're doing Carnival with Jenny. We will do probably Abyss with Safina. I think she's, if anyone's suited among the rogues to do well in that scenario, Safina's got a chance. I'm not saying she's going to do well, but she's got a chance. And then we'll continue to go down the line. I do have all the side scenarios, including Barkham, and I do love them all. They're very, very good. What is it? There's something, the Meow of Meow Lethertep, or Curse of Meow Lethertep. I mean, something bananas. So this deck is rough. Again, I draft my decks through. There's an Arkham Draft website which I like. I wish there was another one as well to give some options. I'm not sure if that site seems to have not been updating the last couple things that have been released. I'm a little worried whoever runs that site is no longer doing it. So, but I do like drafting. It's a much quicker experience. I haven't deck building experience. I haven't actually drafted my XP cards, and we'll get to those, which means I do need to take out 6 cards. Oh no! That's fine. So I got to take out 6 of these as we go, and you can listen to me blabber through the process. So one of the problems of drafting, though, when you're doing the Dunwich characters, the Dunwich investigators, is that because they have access to the entire collection, the automatic draft thing throws up all these random cards, so your splash is a little off. I mean, if I really wanted to think through it, I probably could have just chosen my 5 splash cards separately, but we'll stick with the randomness and see how it goes. This scenario can be quite challenging, but I also like, again, seeing different synergies in cards that I wouldn't see otherwise, and that's one of the reasons I really like drafting. So Jenny, actually, let's get to Jenny first before we get to her deck. Jenny Barnes, the Dilettante, a deck size sturdy deck building. She can do rogue cards or up to 5 other level 0 cards from any other class. She also includes her twin 45s and her special unique weakness, which is searching for Izzy. Now, searching for Izzy obviously doesn't matter all that much when you're doing a campaign game. I'm sorry, when you're not doing a campaign, right? So in a standalone, it's like, oh, searching for Izzy, whatever, we'll just leave her chill. Marshall just tuned in. How does this compare to Maid's Night? Oh, it's just a different experience. I mean, Arkham LCG, like any living card game, if you're in, and it's definitely more of a lifestyle game. I mean, if you get just the base game, you're probably going to be disappointed. And even then, even if you get like the Dunwich Legacy expansion, there can be a bit of an acquired taste to the experience. If you want to just do the narrative, play on easy, that's totally fine. I've always played on standard, never really had much of a desire to play on hard. I've done it a couple of times and it just didn't really fit in what I enjoy about this game. I mean, the Chaos Bag is already hard enough, and if there was something about hard, I wish it did something more than just make the tokens worse, right? I mean, I think it'd be a little more interesting to see kind of more variety than that. David Coleman, hope Jenny has some more move tech. The scenario is nuts for getting where you need to be. Yes, I did try to get some move cards, and we'll see. Hopefully, I'll get Leo out there, and that will help with the movement. So I don't know. Sometimes the scenario goes really well for me, and sometimes it's a disaster. So yeah, I don't know. That's about right. So anyway, the flavor text story time with Greg. Jenny Barnes never guessed that she would be returning to America so soon or under such circumstances. Arkham, Massachusetts is a far cry from Paris, but when her sister's regular correspondence became increasingly deranged before stopping entirely, Jenny could not shake the feeling that something terrible had happened to her. As Jenny begins the search for her sister, she quickly realizes that Isabel is not the only girl in Arkham to have gone missing. How might the disappearances be connected? And why do the flyers for the local Harvest Festival depict the face of a medallion Jenny sent her sister? Dun dun dun. So there is a novella out for Jenny with some replacement cards. I am using that card with that art because I think it's way cooler than the normal art that came with base or Dunwich Legacy expansion Jenny. However, I'm not using the replacement cards. One is a kind of an XP grab. You can turn resources into XP. It's kind of an interesting mechanic, a little hard to pull off, and it's useless outside of a campaign. The other one is the weakness there is kind of brutal. It's an enemy that is not fun to deal with. So I don't normally use the replacement cards, even in a campaign. I just like to use the art. And again, for those who don't know, if you have the novellas, the replacement cards, it's kind of all or nothing. I can't pick that unique asset and this weakness, right? So I need to actually pick. You have to have the whole set. And now what you can do is take both the replacement cards and the regular cards and have all four in the deck. That's totally fine. I do that with Silas, where he has two unique assets in the Innsmouth Conspiracy expansion, and then he has one unique asset with the novella, and then both weaknesses. I'll throw all five cards in the deck. That's one of the few investigators I'll do it with. For those who don't know, there are 7 novellas out right now. Most of the characters in the novellas have already had their regular version published. I think there's Norman's going to be an Edge of the Universe, and I think Gloria Goldberg, I think, is the only one at this point that doesn't even, we don't know when we're going to get her real card. We just got Dexter Drake and Silas in Endless Conspiracy. Sarah Rune says, good luck walking in circles. Yes. It's more like running in terrified fear, right? So here's the 30 cards I drafted, and then we'll figure out what the heck, which of these we're dropping out of here. So again, the splash is really random. It is what it is. I'm just going to go through my assets. I did take both Hyper Awareness and Hard Knocks. Either one. I'll probably just get one out because they're a little bit duplicative considering that they both have the agility bonus, so you can boost your agility. But having either a extra combat or extra intellect can be really useful. We have a knife. We have an art student. Love putting your art student out with Jenny. You have the money for it. Get the clue. Move the heck on. Some of the locations here have really high shrouds. And Jenny's got a 3-3-3-3. That's 4 threes or 5 threes. I don't know. Whatever threes it is across the board, which is like, she's not terrible in anything, but she's also not great at anything, which actually isn't a good build. Like, do you really want things that help boost that as you go? But we'll see if we can pull that off. All right, I got pickpocketing after you evade an enemy. To draw one card. That could be useful for card draw. Leo DeLuca, the regular version. So he's 6 XP, obviously the extra turn. If I get him in my starting hand, I will obviously be putting him out and then maybe replace him later based on what I need. Fine Clothes can be really huge in this scenario because there is a lot of parlaying. Obfuscation, card I haven't played very often, has 3 charges. You can put it out fast, so again, 2, get it out, and then when an enemy makes an attack of opportunity against you, spend 1 charge, cancel an attack. That could be really helpful depending on how the scenario goes, to be able to cancel some attacks of opportunity. We have the regular Switchblade. I'm going to drop that out for the enhanced Switchblade already, so that's 3 of my XP. I got 16 more to go. I am going to take 2 basic weaknesses. Again, for standalone scenarios, when you build a deck, you have to take 1. You can take up to 9 XP, and you can take 1 random basic weakness. If you take an additional 10 XP, so anywhere between 10 and 19, you take an additional XP. And then that pattern continues. I think the max you can go is up to like 59 XP, something bananas, or 49. All right, the Mauser C96. There's 5 ammo, which is nice. You have to exhaust it and spend an ammo. +1 to your fight. You deal +1 damage for this attack if you see by 2 or more. Either ready the Mauser or gain 1 resource. Hard Knocks and Hyper Awareness I talked about. I have a knife, and I already talked about my art student. Oh, here we go. I somehow ended up in the middle of this. Leather Jacket. It's fast. Probably won't put it out. I mean, I prefer the Fine Clothes. Having the damage soaked couldn't be the worst idea. Lone Wolf. Again, Jenny gets 2 resources around, right? That's her thing. So her upkeep phase, she gets 2 resources every time. Getting a third resource around could help, especially if I have hyper awareness or hard knocks out. Pickpocketing. Already talked about that. Any I didn't talk about in here? Nope. Those are my assets. What do we got with events? Well, we have sneak attack. I did try to do in the draft. I was definitely picking up things that were giving me more agility. So hopefully I can use this. Deal 2 damage to an exhausted enemy at your location. Warning shot. Now again, one of my splash cards. It could be useful. It was kind of a garbage array of 6, but I think in this scenario there's definitely things that I could use this for. As an additional cost to play Warning Shot, spend 1 ammo from a firearm asset you control. Move all non-elite enemies at your location to a connecting location. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Think on your feet, fast. When an enemy would spawn at your location, immediately move to a connecting location, and obviously that includes if it would spawn into my threat area. Since I am at my location, that would also be at my location. David Coleman, I'm really happy with the change in format from Edge of the Earth. Yes. I was out on Arkham. I really was. I was like, Circle didn't really click with me. 3 meters A was such a disaster for me. I just scales so poorly for 1 or 2 players. I'm really hoping the Return 2 fixes that. But then Innsmouth, I was like, all right, I'm in on Innsmouth because I really liked the theme and I wanted regular Silas and whatever, and I was already just kind of committed to it mentally. But Innsmouth was so good. I mean, it's really, really good. I'm about to start that scenario again with a friend this weekend and 2 friends this weekend, so I'm super psyched about that. Innsmouth was so good, and then it changes to Edge of the Universe, and the marketing is just amazing. Sarah says, same. The game is going to be much easier to collect now. Absolutely, yeah. So for those who don't know, Arkham used to be deluxe expansion plus 6 Mythos packs for every cycle, and then additionally you might have some of the standalones that came out. The last standalone to come out was Outer Gods, but now what they're doing is instead of having 7 products you need to buy 2, and actually you can choose to only buy 1 and still get what you want. So if you want more investigator guards and more investigators, you can buy just the investigator pack. If you want the whole cycle and new scenarios, you can buy the Edge of the Universe campaign. And supposedly what it's also going to do from a creative space, because they're not stuck in this cycle, it actually gives the design team, MJ obviously being the lead designer in this game, it gives them some space to really play. So the campaign, it's going to be like 4 to 10 scenarios now because they're not constrained by their marketing and delivery models. So I really, really think it's going to be a good thing for the game. All right, Elusive. What? I have Elusive in my deck. Now, Elusive has gone through quite the history. So Elusive was a broken card. Really, really broken card. It cost 2. It was fast. You can disengage and move anywhere that's revealed in the board that had no enemies. It was so sick. I mean, a lot of times it could be the equivalent of 6, 7, 8 actions depending on the scenario. Then what they decided, well, that's too strong. So they're going to put it on the taboo list, and I do play with the taboo list. For those who don't know, look at the latest FAQ. I think the latest FAQ was back in June, because you always want to make sure you're using the most recent version. So what they did was they made a 2 XP for a while, which made sense. Now it's still a level 0 card, so you can include it with anyone who could take level 0 rogue cards, but it would cost 2 XP to put in your deck, so you couldn't really have it to start the game. Then they decided, well, now it's like, we still want to get it back to level 0. How can we do this? Well, play fast. Play only during your turn. It's no longer 2 XP. Disengage from each enemy engaged with you and move to a connected location with no enemies. Really, really nice. I like it. I like this getting some life, and I like the fact that it's not super OP anymore. It's not broken, right? It's a little bit more like Cat Burglar, right? So it works. I mean, Cat Burglar's 1 XP, but it's a nice card. And you see, like, yes, some people might be horrified. I just write all the taboos and the errata right on the cards, man. I don't, there's so many now, like there's no way I'm keeping all that crap in my head. So get a fine point Sharpie and write it down. Or don't. I mean, it's your game, do what you want. Breaking and entering. So event I haven't used very often. Investigate, add your agility value to your skill value for this investigation. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may automatically invade an enemy at this location. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. And the nice thing about that, that enemy that you could evade could be elite or non-elite. And additionally, even if you don't succeed by 2 or more, even if you don't succeed at all, you still do evade the end. You still don't have to take the attacks of opportunity. David Coleman, less waste of plastic. Oh yeah, like I want to know there's got to be people out there that save all those packs, right? Like no way. I save like do I don't even say the deluxe boxes anymore? I don't think, especially with the return twos. I think I have 1 deluxe box like somewhere like buried in the back closet. All right, small favor. Again, cards I don't normally take, but this draft is very weird. Deal 1 damage to a non-elite enemy at your location. When you place all favor, increase its cost by 2. Deal 1 damage to 2 damage, or you can decrease it by 4, so you spend 6. You can do 2 damage to an enemy at your location up to 2 locations away now. So it could be hey, this is coming up. Now, so if you spend 4, you can either do 2 damage to an enemy at your location or do 1 damage to an enemy 1 or 2 locations away. If you spend 6, you can do 2 damage to an enemy 1 or 2 locations away. It's just like Intel Report. They're really cool little cards. The drawback of this card, it does not protect you from attacks of opportunity because it is not a fight action. Right? It is like you're dealing damage, but you are going to get attacked and punched in the face before you do. All right, Backstab, one of the better rogue cards from the Knight of the Zealot. The base box, you have a fight action that uses agility instead of combat, and this attack deals +2 damage. I have 2 copies of Intel Report. Again, it's discover 1 clue at your location, spend 4, discover 2 clues at your location, or discover 1 clue from a location 1 or 2 away. 6, you can get 2 clues from a location 1 or 2 away. That are my events. And then finally, we have my skill cards. Again, take heart. I'm going to commit to a test. I'm pretty sure I'm going to fail. I get to draw 2 cards and get 2 resources. Could be helpful. Daredevil's an interesting card. Some people really love this card. It's not normally how I play, but after you commit Daredevil to a skill test, discard cards on the top of your deck until you discard a rogue skill. You can commit to this test, commit it, and then shuffle each weakness that was discarded by this effect back into your deck. I think I'm going to have to drop this actually because I don't have any rogue skills. And again, when I was drafting, it was one of the earlier cards I took. So that's not going to work. I need to drop 4 more cards anyway, so we'll deal with that. 2 copies of Manual Dexterity, 1 copy of Perception, 2 copies of Unexpected Courage, 1 copy of Guts, and then I have True Understanding, which actually can be useful here. Commit only to a skill test from an ability printed on a scenario card. If the skill test is successful, discover 1 clue. There are definitely a bunch of scenario cards that have abilities on it. Scenario cards includes anything that came in the scenario pack, so that will work. So what do I want to add? So I already took out Daredevil. I'm going to add good old Lola Santiago. She can be huge with Jenny. +1 intellect, +1 agility. Exhaust Lola, spend X resources, discover 1 clue at your location, where X is the shroud value of your location. Can be very nice. So that's Lola. I want to add, well, think on your feet. Let me get rid of the base copy of that. So fast, play when an enemy enters your location, move to a different location, and that could work on... so again, what's the difference? Well, the base version costs 1, and it only works when an enemy spawns. Think on your feet, the upgraded version is much better because it costs 2 XP, but it says I could have a hunter enemy guy coming into my location during the enemy phase, and I could quickly move. And that's any enemy. It doesn't have to be non-elite, so I like that flexibility. So now I got to draw 3 more cards. I think pickpocketing is going to go. Not that worried about the card draw. I just always find pickpocketing is better in theory than in actuality. And I'm going to take Ace in a Hole. So I'm spending 6 more XP on Ace in a Hole. Why 6? Well, it only has 3 pips. I know, but it's exceptional. So with exceptional, you have to double the amount of pips. So it's actually costs 6 XP. Fast, play only during your turn. You may take 3 additional actions this turn. That could be huge with Jenny. I got High Roller, cost 2 to put out, spend 3 resources and exhaust High Roller, get +2 for the skill value of this test. If you succeed, gain 3 resources. So basically you can turn 3 resources into 6, but if you fail, obviously those 3 resources you spent go away, but that can be a really nice mechanic with Jenny. And then I also have Delilah O'Rourke. She has 1 combat and +1 agility. You can exhaust her and do some damage stuff. So she can be really useful there. So which of those... I dropped 4, I gotta drop 2 more. You know what? Let me drop the leather jacket. Don't see it being as useful as I would hope. And I need to drop 1 more card. Tempted to drop Think on Your Feet. Backstab's a little hard to make work with Jenny too. It only has 3 going in. I could drop Warning Shot. Skills. Nah, I kind of want all those skills, to be honest with you. Which one's gonna drop? Man. Sneak Attack's good. I could drop the Art Student. I mean, it's a little... I have so many other... I mean, I have 3 allies. It's probably enough allies considering I don't have Charisma. So let me just drop... Nah. She's so nice when it comes out. Obfuscation I want. The Mauser. I mean, Jenny's twin guns. So again, I didn't talk about her unique assets or her twin guns. When you put it out, you can spend as many resources as you want. That gives you that many ammo. When you spend one ammo, you get +2 fight for this attack, and the attack deals +1 damage. The problem with the twin 45s and a scenario like this is it takes, or any scenario really, is it takes up 2 hand slots, and when you have the switchblade, it kind of becomes a little redundant. So I kind of want to hold on to the Mauser. I could drop the knife, however. Knife might be a little bit unnecessary here. Yeah, it's fine. Knife is out. Let's move on. So I'm not sleeving these up. I'm only in one scenario with it, so I'm not that worried about it. And we're going to go and mix these up. Somebody's going to be like, oh my gosh, we're shuffling cards that are unsleeved. I'm like, yes, I know. That's how I go. So there are 32 cards. Oh, I got to get my basic weaknesses. Let me not forget. So let me get my first basic weakness. Where's my basic weakness? Oh no! Are they in here? Nope. Of course, it's going to be the last one I look in. My back? There we go. Sorry about that. What was the last thing I said? Someone tell me what the last thing you heard was. Not that anyone's listening. I wasn't really listening to you. I just like to be here and want to see you start playing instead of yammering. Yeah, sorry about that. I must have hit the button on this mic, which I love this mic. It's the first time it's happened live, but yeah, everything should be okay here. Yeah, we're good. Um, so there are 19 tokens. Someone can go and make sure I did it right. But yeah, it's basically there's like a -6, a -4, -3, a -2, 3 -1s, 3 zeros, 3 skulls, a bunch of other things. So it's a big thing. One of the things with the side scenarios is that they really love to pile up these early ones with just tons of chaos tokens, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But if you're playing as part of a campaign, instead of having this ridiculous bag with 3,000 tokens in it, what instead you would do is you would just play with the normal chaos bag from your campaign, but you have to spend the XP to play the scenario. It's always a matter of personal preference whether scenarios are worth the XP to play them. generally, I feel like the risk reward is usually worth it. The only time that doesn't hold true is Abyss. Abyss is so ridiculously hard. It would be very, very hard for me to consider playing Abyss as a side scenario voluntarily. It's so the risk reward is just not worth it on any level whatsoever. Knight being removed. Oh, that's the thing I heard. Oh, all right. Well, I got two weaknesses, and for those who didn't hear, I got one weakness is going to make me add 5 curse tokens to the bag. And the other weakness, again, there's random. I have to get two weaknesses. Why? Because I had 19. I got one weakness with the curse, 5 curse tokens to add to the bag. I was talking about how I just don't love the curse bless mechanic, but I love Innsmouth, and I just kind of need to play with it more. I just need to play with Sister Mary and just kind of lean into it. I think I'll really like that experience a lot more. And the second weakness I got was chronophobia. So basically, for when it comes out, it goes in my threat area, and it's going to be 2 actions to remove. And if I don't remove it, then I take a direct horror at the end of every turn. So, is what it is. Shouldn't be the worst. Jenny's a little bit of a tank. I mean, she has this 8 damage capability plus the 7 horror, so she's kind of built to take a little bit of a beating. All right, let's go to story time with Greg, the Carnevale of Horrors. All right, we set up the chaos bag. We're on page 2 of this little sheet. Side story, talked about that. The Carnival is coming. Look, Sheriff Engels insists. I know it sounds crazy, but that's really all there is to it. He sighs and sits back, pouring a cup of joe for you and one for himself. A dame in Uptown spotted a cracked egg wearing this mask and holding a bloody butcher's what? Holding a bloody butcher's cleaver, he says, motioning in the black leather mask sitting on his desk. It has a comically long nose and a strange symbol scrawled in yellow on its forehead. So she calls it in. My boys and I picked him up on the corner of Saltonstall and Garrison. The sheriff's jaw clenches and his brows furrow as he recounts the story. Fella did nothing but laugh as we slapped his bracelets on him. Called himself Zanny, said nothing except the carnival is coming. Whatever the hell that means. Wasn't until the next day we found the victim's body. Defense wanted him in a straitjacket. We were happy to oblige. There isn't much time to spare. If your research is right, there is more to this case than meets the eye. This Zanny wasn't talking about the Darks Carnival, but rather the Carnevale of Venice, which begins just before the next full moon. We are going to gather all the cards from the Carnevale of Horrors expansion set, which we have. We're going to choose one location at random, root for the game. If San Marco Basilica or Canal side is removed, choose something else. So instead of that absurdity, I'm just going to shuffle these all up. And I don't actually need to shuffle them because they're all different backs. And I'm just going to roll a die as I want to do. Make sure I didn't shut the mic off again. All right, cool. I'm rolling that. I rolled a 1. So we're taking out the Bridge of Sighs. See ya. Now we're going to take these 6 locations that I have left in my hand, take Canal Side and take the San Marco Basilica, and we're going to put the locations in play in a random order, and it's just going to make a big circle. All right, so make sure I have the room to do what I need to do here. Do I want to roll a die a million times? Nah, I really don't. We're just going to shuffle these up. That's good. And then going at the top, we have Canal Side. Then we have the Venetian Garden. We have the Guardian. We have Streets of Venice, the San Marco Basilica, the Academy Bridge, I'm sorry, the Rialto Bridge, the Academia Bridge, and then the Flooded Square. So we have our little Carnival. Spread this out a little bit more because we are going to get crowded in here for sure. All right, that should do. Now, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to take the shuffle the 7 masked Carnival goers. Now, 3 of these are not so bad, and 4 of these are terrible. So we're going to put these out in every location except for the San Marco Basilica. So we're going to get, well, that's here. I'm just going to start at Rialto Bridge and move around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Cool. We are now going to set the following cards aside. Sindathqua, Pantalone, Medico della Peste, Bata, and the Gilded Volto. Shuffle the remainder of the encounter cards to build the encounter deck. Oh, also we're putting the Abbess Allegria del Biase in the San Marco Basilica. So that will work. Hold on one sec. We're back. Thank you for that commercial break. That commercial break was brought to you by Kleenex. Now, additional clarifications? Nope, no, no. So the way this works is all of these scenarios are scenarios. Wow. All these locations are connected to each other in a clockwise direction. So San Marco Basilica is connected to Rialto Bridge, but it is not connected to the streets of Venice. Rialto Bridge is connected to Academia Bridge, but it is not connected to the San Marco Basilica, so forth and so on. So we're going in a clockwise arrangement around as if we're in a crowded carnival in the streets of Venice. I'm going to adjust this sizing a little bit, make me tiny, and get this more on the board. All right, cool. Now I need to shuffle up the encounter set. Counter deck is not awful. I might need a mini. Yeah. Well, there's Jenny. Jenny also starts in the San Marco Basilica, so she's gonna chill. But yeah, it's gonna get a little nuts, but I think we'll make it work. So I'm gonna shuffle this encounter set, and we will put this in play up or over here. That will work. Ah, it's beautiful. What am I going to do? I'm going to draw to my opening hand. My opening hand is what? 5 cards. We have Obfuscation, we have Perception, we have Manual Dexterity, Delilah O'Rourke, and Lone Wolf. Do I want to put Delilah out right away? Maybe. Probably not, actually. I kind of want a weapon. I do want Lone Wolf. Might be too early for Obfuscation, too. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to throw away those 2 and draw 2 more. I hope I can get a weapon or Leo. Well, the art student will help. And Elusive. There's a strong argument to keep either of those. I just think starting the game, those are cards I want later. I was hoping for a better way to deal with enemies, but I think this will do. So what? I have 3 actions. Now, Abbess Allegria has some text on her. So exhaust Abbess Allegria de Biasi and move from her location to a connecting location or to her location from a location connected to it. Any investigator may trigger this ability. It can be very, very nice. San Marco Basilica. It is connected to each location in a clockwise direction. We're going to flip it over. Flavor text. Blessed and warded by the Abbess, the Basilica is about as safe a place as you can find in Venice, but it is not safe enough. There is a action on there, which you can spend 1 action to place an innocent reveler you control underneath the act deck out of play. No clues on there. Shroud value is 3. So, my first action, what am I going to do? Now, my strategy here is I like to run around, and then I'm going to... So Phoenix Knight said I might need to stand here, right? Brian Classic said claustrophobic, and I mean it's a crowded carnival, guys. There's a lot of people. And David Coleman, Lone Wolf is great for solo. Yes, it is. So I'm going to exhaust the Abbess, and I'm going to move from her location to a connecting location. And again, that is not an action. So I go to Rialto Bridge. I won't read the flavor text on the back. I'll read the flavor text on the front. Rialto Bridge is connected to the location in the clockwise direction. It has 1 clue on it, a shroud value of a 2, and after you leave Rialto Bridge, lose 1 action. Now, that's after you leave. So if I leave as my last action, no harm, no foul. So I'm going to try to get out of there this turn and get that clue in the process. So my first action, I'm going to spend 1 resource to put out Lone Wolf. That costs 1. My second action is, it's a really easy shroud value. So I'm a 3 to a 1. That deck's terrible. This would allow me a card draw. I'm going to play Perception, and I'm going to commit that. I'm doing a 5 to a 1, so I'm going to win most of the time. Lone Wolf is... What's up, Daniel? This is not Wolfhawk, but it should be. Wolfhawk playing Arkham would be awesome. That would be a crossover, man. You should design that. All right, 5 to a 1. What's going on? Bam, I pulled a 0. So I wasted my Perception. I get the clue. Since I succeeded at the test, I draw a card. It's fine closed. Don't hate that. And that was my second action. With my third action, I'm going to move. And after I leave, I lose 1 action. Well, I'm not going to lose an action because I left. Now, what does it say on the Masked Carnival Goer? So I spend 1 clue, flip the Masked Carnival Goer. If it is the other side as an enemy, it attacks each investigator at its location. Now, what the heck does all that mean? I should have read these, and I still have to read the flavor text in the Academia Bridge. So, the festivities begin. Last minute ocean liner tickets from Boston to Italy set you back a fair bit of dough. But man, we're a dilettante. We're good. But after a tense journey, you arrive in Venice. The Carnevale has already begun, and the city is in celebration. Colorful and confetti. I'm sorry, I can't speak. First day with my new mouth. Colorful confetti rains from above, covering the streets. Many revelers throng in the Piazza San Marco, the square outside the Basilica. The parade is to begin shortly. You find the nearest uniformed carabinieri and show him a copy of the symbol you described from Zanni's mask. He pauses to decide your trustworthiness, nods, and escorts you into the Basilica to see the Abbess Allegria di Biase. Awesome. We have the Carnevale conspiracy. The Abbess addresses you privately, so you know what is coming. You nod. Then you know what you must be done. Then you know what must be done. They are using the celebration as a sacrifice for their wretched master. Bring as many innocents as you can here, where I can protect them. But beware, the creature servants will try to blend into the crowd with their false masks. The investigators spend one clue, so it's one clue per investigator, sort of true solo. One clue as a group. They look at the other side of a masked carnival goer at any location. If there are a total of 3 innocent revelers underneath the actor agenda deck, advance. So Daniel says, just saying hi. The Orc was not my game. Good luck. Have fun. Thanks, dude. Good to see you. All right. So there's basically 2 ways you look at the other side of this. One, you could always use the ability on the act, right? And if you use that ability, you get to see what's going on. Now, generally speaking, if it's an enemy, it's not going to do anything for you. Or you could gamble a little bit. But if you gamble, if it is an enemy, then it risks attacking you. Now, again, I played this enough. There's 7 cards. You can rest assured that about a half are not enemies and half are enemies. And we're trying to get the non-enemies over to the Abbess where she can keep them safe in the Basilica. All makes sense. Great. So I got to the Academia Bridge. That flips. Academia Bridge. Academia Bridge is connected clockwise. We know that. It has a shroud value of 2, a clue value of 1. And then forced after you leave the Academia Bridge, lose 2 resources. Well, I don't like that, but at least I'm Jenny. Not gonna be a problem for the most part. So that was that. Not a bad first turn. We had a card draw. We did some things. Did the Abbess. We go to the enemy phase. There are no enemies. Upkeep phase. We're gonna ready the Abbess, and then we draw a card. What is it? It is Leo! And we take 2 resources, which is good because I can leave the Academia Bridge and I'll be broke and not have to. Well, I'll actually have 1 resource from Lone Wolf, but that's fine. Worse things have happened, kids. So, and I do wish I had that perception to get that clue a little bit easier. Oh, you know what I could do? I could put the art student out. Get that. Yeah, I have a better idea. I want to make sure I get these clues. I mean, there are worse shroud values, but at this point, I think it's just. Let's make sure I use the art student before I put Leo up. All right, we are going to go to the Mythos phase. We're putting the Doom on the agenda. The Doom threshold is 8, which is nice and high, and we're going to grab the first encounter card. What is it? It's a Pullman. Where does he spawn? The Pullman comes in. He has attack of a 4. He has 4 health. He has 2 evade. He is going to spawn in Canal side, which is up there, and then his prey is the most innocent revelers controlled. So again, when they're not enemies, the masked carnival goers are going to be innocent revelers, and they will be placed under our control through some means, potentially parlay. I don't know, spoiler alert. But right now it's a hunter. So hunter keyword. Oh no, it's going to come get me. It's going to go hunting this way, right? It still follows the same connection restrictions that we do. So in some ways, we're just going to kind of stay behind it and let that roam around the earth without us having to worry about it all that much. So Jonathan Kukuski, would you recommend getting into this game now with the new retail format? The game looks great. I'm a long-time Lord of the Rings fan, but don't want to go back and collect it all. Brian Scott, I take it enemies automatically engage. Yes, they do, except for aloof. Good correction or good qualification from Phoenix. And David Coleman, grab a core in as many of the recent investigator packs you can. The Edge of the Earth when it releases. And Sarah, my friend, was a whole collection. I'm still planning to purchase a revised core set, Edge of Earth, and a few investigator editions to play solo at home. Yeah, Jonathan, we could talk more about that for sure. It's an investment, man. Like I never want to get into Lord of the Rings or Marvel. I can't see getting into another LCG, and this one thematically is the one that just makes the most sense to me because I have some issues, but it's a great game. I mean, it's really fun, and there are definitely cycles like as you're getting into it, if you picked up like maybe the first cycle or two just to really give yourself some of the really basic standbys of the collection that could be helpful. I also understand that they did a remastered or a reworked base box. So instead of having to buy two base boxes to play with four, you get the one base box you can play with four, and they threw some extra cards in there to give you a bigger jump into it. And Edge of the Earth does look like it's gonna have some awesome cards. So yeah, it's really hard to say, man. This game was my favorite game for a long time. It's fallen a bit, recently just because of other games being so good. Spirit Island, Maze Knight, Zeds, but yeah, it's starting to come back to me again, just with some of the new changes they've made. Yo, Jonathan Husky taking notes. Thanks, David. Yep, that sounds good. We go to the investigation phase. What do I want to do? Well, Lone Wolf's going to trigger. You don't have to exhaust it. Actually, you're not supposed to exhaust it. I exhaust it because it reminds me that I'm like, oh, I did that. We're good. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to spend 2 resources to put out the art student. After the art student enters play, I mean, I could commit her to a test. Does that make more sense? Does that make more sense? Think about this. If I commit her to a test, I'll be doing a 4 to a 1, 4 to a 2. Still hate that. And this bag's bad. What are the skulls? I should have read this. So again, it's up on the screen. Each skull is -2. This token has additional -1 for each innocent reveler underneath the agenda deck. The cultist is revealing another token. If you fail this test, draw the top card on the encounter deck. Now there's only one cultist. There's only one tablet, -3 if you fail, deal 1 damage or 1 hard to the nearest innocent reveler in play. And then the Elder Thing is -4 if you fail, and Sanathqua is in play. It attacks you. You know what? I just don't want to risk. Whatever. Let's 4 to a. Well, if I don't get it now, then I'm going to be. I just don't want to be stuck here forever because of this nonsense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this, spend the 2 with the art student, get this clue. Art student's in play. Now I'm going to get a resource with my second action. And then with my third action, I'm going to put Leo in play. So the art student has to leave play, but she did her job. I got that clue for immediately. And now we have Leo. So I have an additional action that does trigger this very turn. The additional action is always the first action you take in a turn. So if I were to have an action and I were to, like, say I attacked an enemy with retaliate, and I failed the attack, and the enemy, like, I used the damage or horror and I defeated Leo, I don't lose that additional action, so I would still have 4 actions that turn. Phoenix Knight, at least you come by having issues honestly. Yeah. David Coleman, there were 5. Got it, yes. Yes. David Coleman, there were 5, and they were really good for increasing your player card pool, but they become hard to find. Yes. Fast, absolutely. And David Coleman, yeah, and everything, including the novellas, and it cost me. It is not cheap. All right, so my last action, I am moving here. After you leave Academy Bridge, lose 2 resources. I have none. And then we're going to flip over the Flooded Square. So Flooded Square is connected to the location in the clockwise direction. And then there's an action on there. I can automatically evade a non-elite enemy at this location, or at the location in a counterclockwise direction. So I can automatically evade an enemy who's here. If there were one there, and that would just cost an action to do it. There's 1 clue on there, and that's the shroud value of the 4, and again, that's going to be somewhat difficult to get, but I have hope. So enemy phase, hunter keyword triggers. This guy moves here. Up key phase, I'm going to ready Lone Wolf. I'm going to draw a card. I get the Dread Curse. So again, this comes with I said Circle Undone before, I was wrong. This comes from the Intimates Conspiracy. Obviously, we're adding 5 curse tokens to the Chaos bag. Now, what do the curse tokens do? Well, they're basically one-time things that when they come out, it's -2 to my skill value, or my modified skill value, and then I have to draw another token. So that's a lot. Not great to have in the bag, but there are obviously worse basic weaknesses. I get 2 resources in upkeep, because Jenny is amazing. And that is all she wrote. We're going to go to the Mythos phase. We are going to put 1 Doom on the agenda. We're going to draw the top encounter card. What is it? The Carnevale Sentinel. He spawns where? The location across from me. So again, there are 8 locations. He's going to spawn in the streets of Venice. It has an attack of 3, a combat of 3, combat of 3, an evade of 3, and 3 health. It has retaliate, and what it says is you cannot look at the other side of a mass carnival goers at Carnevale Sentinel's location using this ability. Because again, normally you can use that ability to look at anyone, anywhere, but now I can't look at the Mass Carnevale over there, which is kind of rough because that's the one that's directly next to the San Marco Basilica. So that's going to be the easiest one, if it were to be an innocent reveler, the easiest one to get into the Abyss's good graces. One of the concerning things I have right now is I do not have anything in the way of attack and really no way to deal with enemies. Now I do have this one manual dexterity, which can help, but I don't love my current situation all that much. So Lone Wolf's going to trigger. I get another resource. I have 3 actions, or 4 actions, because Leo is in play. So my first action, I want to put Fine Clothes in play. Maybe? So I'm going to go to Canal side. Canal side flips. Flavor text is the water ripples and swells, causing some boats to sway and even capsize. You make a mental note to stay away from the docks. Canal side is connected to the location in a clockwise direction. After you enter, place a clue on it. So you have the shroud value of 2, clue value of 1, and then the triggered ability on canal side is going to add another clue. That's a investigation of a 3, which is not great. 3 to a 2 with a million tokens in there. Oh, man. Sadeth was not in play, so that's not awful. I have no innocent revelers. At some point, I'm going to need to get some clues. I'm going to draw a card in my second action. Hard Knocks. That's not the one I was hoping for. I was really hoping for hyper awareness. I obviously don't want to go there because the Pullman's still chilling. I'm going to draw another card in my third action. Take Heart. Might not be the worst thing to commit. Yeah, so my last action. Yeah, I don't hate this. I'm going to commit Take Heart. I'm investigating at a 3 to a 2. If I fail, I get 2 resources and draw 2 cards. And that could really help get into more of my deck and get one of my weapons out here. So I pull a auto lose. I take Heart. That's right, 2 resources. Draw 2 cards. So first card is manual dexterity, and then we have backstab. Not the cards of dreams, kids. Wow. Well, Hard Knocks could help with backstab. Sure. Enemy phase. Pullman's going to move to the Guardian. Upkeep phase. Readying Lone Wolf. Drawing a card. It is Unexpected Courage. We're taking 2 resources. Dread, Curse, AFK. Yeah. F the bag assured. David Espinoza. If someone's going to go to a fancy carnival, of course it had to be Guinevere, or how her friends call her, Jenny. And drawing cards is risky. Why? What's wrong with drawing cards? I mean, I don't really mind this deck, so I'm good. I think the other weakness I have is chronophobia. I'd rather get that early and just. I mean, Search for Izzy, who cares? I mean, it just doesn't matter at all. Like, I'm not playing a campaign, right? So we're going to put the third Doom on the agenda deck. We are drawing the top encounter card. What is it? Chaos in the Water. Test for agility. Each investigator who controls an innocent reveler must also perform this skill test. Each investigator who fails takes 1 damage, which must be assigned to an innocent reveler first if able. I am not committing anything for this. I'm just planning to fail it. It is not worth the money. So what do we get? A 0. I could have used that last time, but I lose because I have a 3, so I take 1 damage. I will assign that to... I don't know if there's anything that assigns damage to your allies. I'll just take it on Jenny, and now I just have 7 and 7. It's just easier that way. So that's the first card to be discarded. Lone Wolf's going to trigger. Now I have a million resources. All right, my first action, I'm going to play Fine Clothes for 1. My second action, I'm going to play Hard Knocks for 2. 1, 2. My third action It's not going to sure out. I'm not sure I'm going to have a better opportunity to get clues. My third action, I'm going to draw a card. Guts. Yikes. My fourth action, I will investigate a 4 to a 3 and hope I can pull off a -1 or better. It's not great, but at this point, I just need to get some more of these clues. Like I like to go around, get as many clues as I can, and then come back. I pulled a -3. If I fail, deal 1 damage or hard to the nearest innocent reveler in play. There are none. Yeah, I really need to get one of my intel reports. I mean, yeah, I can't get Lola out because I have Leo, and obviously he's more important. But yeah, we'll see. At some point, I might just start moving again and see if I can't get a mass carnival goer somewhere. So the Pullman's going to go here, which is fine. That's the end of the enemy phase. Upkeep phase, I'm going to ready Lone Wolf. Put that up here. Draw a card. I got a Mauser. Don't hate that. And we're going to get ourselves 2 resources. One of the things I love about the mechanics that helps bring the Lovecraft theme out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. All right, Mythos phase. 4th Doom on the agenda. So moving a little bit slow here, which is fine. Just not getting the right cards. And the Carnevale Sentinel goes here. Oh, I wish I had Dynamite Blast as one of my splash cards. Oh, that's terrible. Well, I have Elusive, so I would be able to get the San Marco Basilica at some point. But yeah, that's a really bad location for those dudes. Lone Wolf triggers, I get 1 resource. I'm going to spend these 4. I have to get a weapon out at some point. So let's put the Mauser out. And that has 5 ammo on it. So that was my first action. I could get Gambly and just start revealing dudes. And if it's an enemy, well, it attacks me, but then I can just kind of punch it in the face. Because if clues are going to be a problem, which it appears that they might, then if you do this, right, so there's the way clues work. I can spend a clue to flip and see what it is, but then it stays unrevealed, and then I have to spend an additional clue to turn it over. So that's like a thing that's a very clue intensive way to do this. The other way is you just gamble. If it's an enemy and I think I can defeat it and have some cards that might work with it, like backstab, then I just reveal it and whatever, and then we deal with it that way. So that was my first action. I have 3 more actions. Obviously, getting these clues is going to be better just to get me an intel report. I'll get those clues later. So I'm going to move here with my second action. I'm in the Venetian Garden. The Venetian Garden is connected to the location in a clockwise direction. I get a double action. I could spend 2 resources to heal 2 horror. Limit once per investigator per game. Shroud value is 3. Clue value of 1. I have 2 more actions. This is a mess. I flipped that into an enemy. I'm probably not going to be able to defeat it. And then I'm taking an attack if it's an enemy, and then I'm taking another attack during the enemy phase. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, there's no way I'm investigating that. Well, I could do a 5 to a 3 with unexpected courage. It's not the worst idea I've had. I also have elusive, but then it's just going to hunter probably. I draw a card with my third action. Oh, intel report. How lovely for you. I should have drew a card there. Do I spend the intel report now? Could take the resource. You know what? I'm going to spend this clue here to let me see what this is. All right, so I'm using that ability to see what this mass carnival goer is. It is an innocent reveler. Great. So she can just stay there. I'm going to pick her up on my next turn. So that was an action. Now is my 4th action. I have 1 clue left, which I can use to flip her. And remember, the parlay action will be fine because I have the fine close. Enemy phase. Pullman's going to move. The Carnevale Sentinels do not have hunter keywords, so they're not moving. The Abyss is like, oh my gosh, what is that thing in my Basilica? I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to get a resource. I got 2 resources. I have Ace in the Hole, which is great. And then we go to the Mythos phase. So this phase. So that is the fifth doom on the agenda. The encounter card. What is it? Abduction. Oof. I will Leo. If I lose Leo, it's not the worst thing ever. So Fine Closing Scenario is a cool mask. Oh yeah. I really don't want to lose Leo though. So what am I testing? I'm going to commit Guts. That's all I'm committing. If I lose Leo, the extra actions were nice while they lasted, but I do have Lola, I have Delilah, and I'll just have to make do without Leo. Leo. Man, he's struggling talking today. 5 to a 3. And if I succeed, I draw a card. Come on! -2. Curse token number 1 is out. I was like, is that the auto lose? No, give me a 0! Oh! Well, I failed. -3. I'm going to get rid of Leo, because if you fail, you must discard all your resources. Not doing that, or choose to discard an ally you control. Yeah, we're going to get rid of Leo. Right? I just think that makes more sense. Yeah, so that's out. I just don't want to lose all my... I guess I could lose all my resources. Well, let me think this through. Fine, I will lose all my resources. That's painful, but it is what it is. Rethinking this a couple different ways, and that's done. And there are no innocent revelers in play. Now I did reveal that, but again I did not overturn it, so it's not in play. My turn. I get a resource from Lone Wolf, trying to rebuild that again. It's not going to be that hard to do. Now I'm going to... The problem with losing all my resources is I was probably just going to flip this. I want to flip her, and I have no other way of getting clues. I'm going to need to get resources to get intel report for max effect. So I'm going to move to the Guardian with my first action. I have 3 more actions. Flavor text, you're sure it's made of stone. Why does it seem so alive? The Guardian is connected to the location in clockwise direction. After you entered the Guardian, draw 1 card. All right. I don't mind if I do. High Roller. That's a good card to get. Yeah, I really need to get those resources back with a quickness. So that's good. My second action, I'm going to spend a clue. Yeah, I'm glad I kept Leo, but losing those resources was brutal. That abduction card can be pretty nasty. So I'm flipping this because I spent the clue to do it. It is a parlay ability. Test 2 intellect to convince the reveler to follow you to safety. If you succeed, take control of the innocent reveler. Yeah, I might just take a bunch of resources, which is nuts. I do not... Do I want to control her? Probably doesn't matter. Probably should. So... Oh, their strat value is 3. Clue value is 2. Here. I'm going to test, again, because it's a parlay, find close, and reducing the difficulty of test down to a 0. So the only thing that makes me lose is the auto lose. So -6 modifies my modified value is a 0, 0 to a 0. I succeed. Awesome. So I take control of the innocent reveler. That is innocent reveler number 1. Move this up here. She's so happy to be with the Dilettante. So that was my third action, because I moved, I flipped, I parlayed. My fourth action is I'm grabbing a resource. Enemy phase. Pullman moves. Upkeep phase. Oh, why do I have so many cards? Why do I have so many cards? This is nuts. It's because I drew a card. I kind of want all of these. The backstab might be the hardest one to make work. If I don't take a resource, let me try to use what's in my hand. My fourth action, yeah, I just don't want to discard cards here. I'm going to spend Unexpected Courage, and I'm going to investigate a 5 to a 3. I succeed, I get a clue. Now I pull a 0, of course. Those resources would have been really helpful. I had 2 chances to pull a 0 last time, and I didn't. 1 because I pulled the curse, and 2 when I pulled the minus whatever. So that is fine. I already moved the enemy. Now we go to upkeep. That's when I realized we're going to have to discard a card, so I undid that. I'm drawing a card. It is Warning Shot. I'm taking 2 resources. Now that's where Warning Shot can play very well to move these guys out the way. Move to location. So they would just move here to the side. That's something I want to do. Yeah, it might be. It might be. We'll see. But I'm really short on resources now. All right, Mythos phase. Short on resources. Something I don't often say with Jenny. Drawing a card from the encounter deck. Watcher's Gaze. Test 4 willpower. Each investigator who controls an instant reveler must also perform this test. Each investigator who fails takes 1 horrors. Must be assigned to an instant reveler first if able. It is able. So I'm testing a 3 to a 4. Probably going to lose this. Wouldn't mind getting rid of those curse tokens in the process. -6 again. So I do fail. I take 1 horror and I put it on the innocent reveler. Watcher's Gaze goes out. My turn. A Lone Wolf triggers. I have 8 cards. I gotta get some of these out of my hand. I have 4 resources. I'm gonna put High Roller in play for 2. Let's shift all of this. Not used to having this many assets as Jenny, that is for sure. High Roller's in play for 2. Again, I can spend 3 resources, exhaust High Roller, get +2 skill value. If I succeed, I get 3 more resources. So that could be a nice way to get some moolah back. I'm not going to use Intel Report because, again, I got a clue, which is helpful. It's my first action putting High Roller. My second action is I'm going to move to the streets of Venice. These 2 guys engage me. This flips. Oh, it has a fast move ability. Oh, that's so nuts. The streets of Venice is connected to the location in a clockwise direction. Then it gives me move in a clockwise location. So it has two clues and shroud value of 2. Man, I'm really wasting all those auto moves between the Abyss and the streets of Venice. I mean, I could just leave them in my threat area, though. That's not a terrible idea. Let me do this. It's going to be way too hard to kill both of those guys. I have 2 more actions. I don't even have the money to kill this one. I could get myself 3 more actions, too, if I wanted to. Have elusive, so I can ditch them at any time, too. It's a little bananas, but I think I do it. So I'm going to use that triggered ability to move here. Now that is not triggered back attack of opportunity because it doesn't take an action. Yeah, it's fine. And I'm going to play Warning Shot. I'm going to use an ammo. I'm going to move both of these into the same location with the Pullman. So how many actions do I have left? I put out High Roller. I moved. That was 2 actions. 3 actions was Warning Shot. My 4th action, I'm going to use the action on the San Marco Basilica to place an instant reveler I control under the Yak deck out of play. So she is safe. And back to 0 money, but I think that made the most sense of that situation. Got those out of the way, and now I have to run around again, and hopefully I can get 1 more innocent reveler. All right, enemy phase. This Pullman's going to move. The Carnevale Sentinels are just going to chill in their new home. Upkeep phase, I get 2 resources. Mythos phase, I'm sorry, and I draw a card. 7 cards in hand, so that's not awful. Mythos phase, 7th Doom. Is that right? Yep, 7th encounter card. Here we go. Mass hysteria. Ooh, this could actually be really nice. Peril. I must either take 2 damage or take East Mass Carnival Goers, shuffle them so investigators do not know which is which. Place one in each location, starting with your location clockwise. Starting with the location clockwise, that's totally fine. So I didn't reveal any. So one of the dangers of spending the tokens, the clues to do that too much, is you get Mass hysteria. I don't know what any of these Mass Carnival Goers are. So I don't really care. I'm just going to basically reshuffle them and rearrange them. So there are 5 left. There should be a 6th. Here it is. And we're going to have to rearrange these at the locations starting from my left. Now again, the agenda is advancing next turn. It's a little rough. Get 1, 2. I thought it was the thing. There's something that actually makes you go to the other side of the carnival, and that would have been much better. But all those are now rearranged there. Lone Wolf's going to trigger. I get 1 resource. Can move. Can't. It's crazy. I can't do elusive right now because elusive's going to get stuck here. I'm not going to be able to play elusive to unengage with them. So my whole plan is to get to the Rialto Bridge and then move to there with elusive. But I'm going to have to make sure that's my last action of next turn again, because when you leave the Rialto Bridge, you lose an action. So I have a total of a lot of resources, a lot of actions. I'm going to could just spend an action to reveal. I have the clue. I have intel reports, so I should be able to get more clues. So my first action, I'm going to spend this clue. We just pulled a Mass Hysteria. Hopefully don't get another one of those anytime soon. See what this is. Oh, it's an enemy. So Salvatore Neri, he's got Retaliate. He's not a hunter. His fight value is equal to the attacking investigator's base fight value. His evade is equal to the attacking investigator's base value. He only has 3 health. So again, that's going to be a little bit tough. But now we also know that that is not an innocent revelers, right? So we'll see if anything gets moved around. We won't know that anymore, but we know. I always want to see if there's masked innocent revelers close to the abyss, because then I can run around, get them, and kind of bring them along. I have 3 more actions, and I think I just want a ton of resources right now because of High Roller and everything else. And I can't use elusive, so it is what it is. Kind of a dud of a turn, but I'm gonna get three resources, and that's my whole turn. So enemy phase, the Pullman moves. Upkeep phase, I'm drawing a card. I get Lola. All right, so if abduction happens now, it might make a little bit more sense to ditch Leo than it did before. And now we go to the Mythos phase. Well, it's the 8th Doom. Mythos phase. Oh, shoot. Is going to reveal what? Where the heck is my Doom? There it is. Yoink. It is the Baleful Reveler. The nearest location with no investigators counterclockwise from the lead investigator. I'm obviously lead investigator. It's got Hunter and Retaliate. Forced at the Baleful Reveler moves from the Hunter keyword. Reveal a random token from the cast bag. If you reveal a skull, a cultist, a tablet, an elder thing, or the auto lose, resolve the Hunter keyword again. Victory points 2. So that's a thing. That's a thing that we're going to deal with. I have to draw a card from the encounter deck. Chaos in the Water. Test for agility. Each investigator who controls an innocent reveler must perform this test. Blah, blah, blah. Must be applied to an innocent reveler if able. Testing a 3 to a 4. Planning on failing this for sure. I do fail. I take a damage. I'm going to put it on Leo. This goes out. Lone Wolf triggers. I get another resource. Now, I'm going to use the Abyss's ability to move me to a connecting location. I'm going to play... Oh, wait. I lose an action after you leave. You know, that's probably worth it. Elusive is still fast, so I would have 3 actions here instead of 4. And it gets me a lot of distance away from the Baleful Reveler. But what the heck am I going to do there when I get there? Could spend 6, get those 2 clues. That's 1 action. Then I have 3 more actions. Wow. Not a lot of efficiencies happening right now, kids. I could try to kill one of the Balfour Revelers, the Sentinels. That just seems like it doesn't make too much sense. I know that there are 2 more innocent Revelers in these 5 locations. I'm hoping it's not there because that would just be super bad. Oh, then you know what? I could look at some stuff. All right, we're fine. So I'm going to do the Abyss. I go here. Not an action. I'm going to spend 2 for elusive. I'm going to disengage from the enemy, so they would have been in my threat area momentarily. I disengage from each enemy I was engaged with, and I move to a location that's connected without any enemies, which gets me to the Rialto Bridge. I do lose an action when I get there, though, because, again, after I leave Rialto Bridge, I lose an action. So I'm down to 3 actions, even though that was fast, and the Abyss also had a fast ability. I'm going to spend 6 resources. So I'm going to get 2 clues from a location 1 or 2 locations away. So I'm going to get both the clues from canal side. So that was my first action. I have 2 more actions. Going to spend 1 clue. You know what? I'll reveal those next turn. I think I need to get some more resources back, which is super nuts. I have 2 more actions. After I leave, I lose 2 resources. That's also not great. Yeah, because if that's an enemy, we got problems. If that's an enemy, we got a problem. I can exhaust it, and again, I'm short on resources again. So my last 2 actions, I'm getting 2 more resources, and we'll see how this works out. So enemy phase, the Pullman keeps moving. He's like, where are these investigators? The Balfour Reveler moves. We have to reveal a random token. Now, if I pull a curse token when I'm doing this, someone's got to tell me what I do. I pulled a 0. It's not a symbol. Balfour Reveler doesn't move. Abyss, Allegria is going to ready. Lone Wolf's going to ready. I draw a card. Intel report the other one, and I get 2 resources. That looks better. Mythos phase. First Doom on agenda 2. Doom threshold is only 3, so not a lot of time here. We draw this. It's a Pullman. Pullman goes where? Canal side, and they just join up. That's nice. They can chill. Lone Wolf triggers. I get another resource. I am going to spend a clue, and we're just going to gamble a little bit. We're going to flip this. What is it? It is an enemy. So the enemy attacks me immediately. I get a damage and a horror. Right? So you flip it. If the other side of the enemy attacks each investigator's location, so damage and a horror. With the horror on Leo, the damage on me. It's 5 health. It has the hunter keyword. While resolving the hunter keyword is his connection is connected to the location across from him, as well as in a clockwise direction. Awesome. So I want to somehow kill this dude. I have 3 more actions thanks to Leo. I'm going to put 3 resources on High Roller and exhaust it. And I'm going to spend 3 resources to play Backstab. That gives me a total of a 3 to a 3. High Roller gives me a 5 to a 3, and I'm going to commit Manual Dexterity for a 7 to a 3 for 3 damage. Again, this test uses agility, not combat, so you can commit icons from, you can commit agility icons. So if I keep pulling the -6, this is going to be a problem, but this is a big moment for us. -3, I succeed. So High Roller gives me those 3 resources back plus 3. I do 3 damage to Savio. I draw a card because of Manual Dexterity. I get the Twin 45s, and that is my second action. My third action is I'm going to fire a bullet with the Mauser. The Mauser gives me +1 combat, so I'm doing a 4 to a 3, and then I'm going to use Hard Knocks. Now I can't use the High Roller again, it's exhausted, right? But I'm going to use Hard Knocks to make it a 6. I'm going to spend 3 for Hard Knocks. Again, you can do that as many times as you want. I'm going to make this a 7 to a 3. It deals +1 damage if I succeed, and it is exhausted if I succeed by 2 or more. I either get a resource back or I can re-ready the Mauser. Now this is my third action. I have one more action after this. I succeed, so I succeeded by 4, so I'll take a resource back, and I have killed Savio Corvi. So he goes into victory display, and that's going to give me 1 victory point. So again, a lot of these times with these side scenarios, if you get XP as you go, you can often get the price of admission, and then sometimes 1 or 2 more back on the other side. I have my fourth action now, because that was bananas. I'm going to move here to the flooded square. Enemy phase. Both these Pullman have their Hunter keyword trigger. The Balfour Revelers keyword triggers. He's going to reveal a token. Amazing backstab. Yeah, David, it is. It was pretty fun. Yoink. It is not a symbol. I hit that a little bit too hard. A little bit too excited. And that is good. Oh, and when I left Academia Bridge, I do lose 2 resources. So, you know, is a thing. Upkeep phase, I'm going to ready these 3 things. I'm going to draw a card. It is breaking and entering. I'm going to take 2 resources. Mythos phase. Next Doom on the agenda. Drawing in a counter card. Abduction. Oof. Here we are again. Here we are again, kids. I mean, I might just put Lola out anyway. I don't love it. I don't know if I want to lose all my resources again, though. Especially with High Roller. So I'm doing a 3 to a 3. If I fail, Leo, I think it's been nice knowing you. I succeed! A 0. Look at me. Clean living, kids. Alright, High Roll. Lone Wolf triggers. I get a resource. Man, I'm so short on clues. Do have intel report. Probably makes most sense to use that as Streets of Venice, but obviously Streets of Venice is not going to help me have clues to kind of reveal these guys. When I go to Canal Side, I get a clue. Again, one of the reasons, if I lost Leo and I had Lola, that's super easy. I break and entering, which allows me to do a search of a 6, which could be good at like Phoenician Gardens and stuff. So my first action, I'm going to spend this clue to flip this and hope it is not an enemy. It is an innocent reveler. Yay! Alright, I'm going to do a parlay action. I'm doing a 3 to a 0. My second action, -1. I get the innocent reveler under my control. I have 2 more actions. I'm going to 7. Going to move to Canal Side. After you enter Canal Side, you add a clue. And then with my last action, don't want to draw a card. Can't put the 2045s in. I have to throw away the Mauser. Oh, I could high roll this. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to spend 3 on high roller. I'm investigating a 3, 4, 5 to a 2. A little gambly, but why not? 5 to a 2 is pretty good. I like where I'm at. Oh, I lose. No, I win. I'm sorry, I thought it was the Elder thing for a second. It is the tablet. -3 if you fail, deal 1 damage or horror. I did not fail. So, because it was a 5 to a 2, so I get 3 resources plus 3 resources back. High roller's amazing. And we're going to get that clue. Enemy phase. Both of the Pullman move. We're going to do the Hunter keyword for the Balfour Reveler. We're revealing another token. Don't be a symbol. It is nuts. Great. Upkeep phase. High roller readies. Lone Wolf readies. Drawing a card. There's my switchblade. Awesome. Taking 2 resources. Mythos phase. Third Doom. What do we get? Storytime with Greg, Agenda 2B. The shadow of the eclipse is unrelenting. Throughout the city, a dull chant overtakes the screaming, and the chaos, its language ancient and morbid. Tentacles course through the canals from the south, weaving beneath bridges and trapping entire islands within their grasp. If there are one or more masked Carnevale goers in play, the lead investigator chooses one and flips it to the other side. If its other side is an innocent reveler, place it underneath the agenda deck. If there's still a masked Carnevale goer in play, flip this agenda back to 2A. So, I know I could choose one. I know that this is not an innocent reveler, and I do not. I'm going to try. I don't. Yeah, High Roller's a fun card. Yeah, it's really good. I'm going to try to get all 3 of the innocent revelers. It's going to be really hard. I have only done it once, I believe, in all my plays. So we're going to flip this because I know it's an enemy. It is the Saboteur Neri, who only has 3 health. All right, and he's just going to chill there. He's not a hunter, but I should have ways to deal with him. We have to draw an encounter card. Lost in Venice. Peril. You must either take 2 horror or move to the location across from you. Gets me in front of the Pullman. Gets me behind the Balfour Reveler. I just don't know how the heck I'm going to deal with those Pullmen if I do that. That's a thing. So I know one of those 3 is an innocent reveler and 2 of them are enemies. Yowza. But it gets me this innocent reveler safe. I think I do it, which is so nuts. Yeah, I don't want to take the horror. So here we go. We're moving across. Here we are. Sometimes the scenario is like, I think I've been here before. You have. You absolutely have. Alright, my first action. I'm going to put this innocent reveler underneath the axe. So we have 2 already, which is nice. Put them innocent reveler side face up. Now I have 3 actions. I'm going to put the switchblade in play fast. Oh, lone wolf triggers. I get a resource from that. Put the switchblade in play for 1. That's fast. Three actions. If I go here, I evade, and then I move. I can do that next turn. I can't use that ability to see what the heck that is. Oh, that's a thing. I do have ace in a hole, so I could get 7 actions next turn. So I could go, I do have a clue, so I can go there, spend a clue to flip that, and if it's an innocent reveler, I can parlay it. I can go there, evade, spend an action to flip. I got a lot of, I think that's what I do next turn. I don't want to do it this turn because I only have 3 actions left, and I can't move here anyway because the Baffle Reveler is still running around. So with my last 3 actions, oh man, I really wish I had a... It'd be nice to have charisma. I'm very charismatic. So again, intel report's annoying because it's 1 or 2 locations away. If this was connected, I would play intel report, get those for 6, and I get those 2 clues. But again, that's way more than 2 connections away. So it's right there, but it's not connected. So that does change some things. The other option, well, if I take 2 damage, Sucker has retaliate. I don't see how I kill him. It's going to take way too long. Way too long. Yeah, let's set this up. I'm only doing 1 more turn around this sucker. So what I'm going to do is give myself 3 more resources, and that's going to make it really easy to pump up Hard Knocks and evade both of the Carnevale Sentinels. So again, not the most efficient turns, but you're seeing the rationale. There's a lot of strategy and tactics to come in this game. It's like sometimes it's better to wait, let some things clear out and open up for you. Yeah, I am going in circles, Brian. Brian's like, I feel like you're going in circles. I am. And so are the Pullman. And so is the Baleful Reveler. So he moves one. I still have 4 curse tokens in that bag, which is not great. There's one of them. So I just reveal it. I think it comes. Does this come out of the bag or go back in? Someone's got to tell me how these curse tokens work, because I forget. Man, where's I know David would know. Arkham, curse tokens, revealed. I think they come out of the game. Removed. They're not chosen to be resolved. I still think it comes out. Probably no trigger. But yeah, okay. That's why I'm kind of stuck. So since it was just revealed and actually not applied, the sucker goes back. Works for me. All right, so I pull the curse token. The curse token does not count as the thing that makes a Baleful Reveler move again. So he's just going to chill there. We go to the agenda, the mythos phase. So now we know, right, that every 3 doom we're going to be advancing this sucker. So and one of these guys is going to be make life really hard. But we'll get there. So we're going to draw on a counter card. What is it? Oh, it's a Writhing Appendage. So the Writhing Appendage, it has 2 health. It has Retaliate. After it attacks you, you have to discard a random card from your hand. That's no fun. It only has a combat of a 2, but it does have 4 agility, which is also no fun. So I do have Hard Knocks. So I think I attack it. Do I attack it with the Mauser? Do I hold on to the Mauser? And or I can attack it with the Switchblade too. So that gives me what I need to succeed by 2 if I'm going to do 2 damage to it. And again, I'm going to be tight on money. Quicker than I hoped here. So I'm attacking with the Switchblade. That gives me a 5 to a 3, or do the Mauser 4 to a 3 and then bump it up. Do want to kill this, but again, it has Retaliate. I don't want to be attacked. Obfuscation could be helpful here too. So I'm going to exhaust the Mauser. And now I have a 4 to a 3. I'm going to bump up Hard Knocks 3 times. That gives me a 7 to a 3. A 7 to a 2. 4 to a 2. And there's no -5, so it makes no sense. I'll take 1 back. So I have a 2 times. So I have a 6 to a 2 for 2 damage against the Writhing Appendage. -2 because of the curse token. It comes out. -3. Oh! Wow. I guess I should have done 1 more for Hard Knocks, right? It attacks me. I take a damage. That's really bad. Alright, and I have to discard a random card, which I don't want to do. I have 7 cards in my hand. I rolled. I lose this one. I lose my twin 45s. Best case scenario. Alright, I have to attack the sucker again. Oh, I'm losing my actions though, so this is a problem. So the Mauser's exhausted. I cannot re-ready it. I'm going to attack with a Switchblade. That gives me a 5 to a 2. I'm going to bump up Hard Knocks, make it a 6 to a 2, but I have to see by 2 to do 2 damage. I'm going to make it, and I'm going to do the High Roller. So I'm doing a 6 to a 2, and I want to succeed by 2 for 2 damage. Yeah, I should have had it up to a 5. Because of that, I need to succeed by 2. Well, I didn't have to succeed by 2 with the Mauser. I have to succeed by 2 with the Switchblade now. So 8 to a 2 for 2 damage, please. Skull, -2. We're good. So I succeed by 2. I do 2 damage to it. Skull's only -2, so I succeeded by 4. This dude is out. That was my second action. The Abyss Alegria de Biasi is going to move me here. Both of these dudes These fine gentlemen are going to engage with me. Now that was a fast action with the Abyss. So now I have to evade both of them. I have 2 more actions. So I'm going to evade well, and then I'm going to play. That's fine. I'm going to play Ace in the Hole now, so I have 5 more actions, and it'll just help with the math. Yeah, let's do this. So I'm going to try to evade the first one, and I need to succeed pretty much all of these. So I'm evading a 3 to a 3. I'm spending 4 resources to make it a 7 to a 3 to evade one of these guys. 7 to a 3. What is it? -3. I succeed. First Carnevale. Sentinel is evaded. Next, I'm spending 3 more resources to make sure I succeed this time. So that gives me a 6 to a 3. I spent 4 resources last time, I made a 7 to 3. I spent 3 resources to make it a 6 to a 3. I'm going to commit manual dexterity to make it a 7 to a 3. 8 to a 3. The math is hard, kids. 8 to a 3 with manual dexterity for the second one. You know what? Let me do one more. Make it a 9 to a 3. Get that -6 out of my head. -1, total overkill. But sometimes you know you got to succeed. I draw a card because of manual dexterity. Hyper awareness. Where you been? I guess it wouldn't be that helpful at this point. My 3 more actions now. I'm going to commit. I'm going to spend this clue to flip this over. It is the last innocent reveler. That is nuts. Now that makes this all worth it. I have to parlay it. I'm parlaying it a 3 to a 0 because of the fine close. This is my 6th action on the turn. Ooh, Elder Sign. +1 for each resource you have. Yeah, so I succeeded by 3,000, the official count. And then I'm going to use my last action to move. After you leave, lose an action, but I had no more actions left. Out, unclear, norm is out. Okay, the FAQ says need to be resolved and removed, and specifically only resort to skill test. Cool, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Man, I saw, I guess there was like some designer who like bitched at a content creator for looking up the rules during a playthrough, and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, like, I don't do it often, but I'd rather make sure I'm getting the game right in the middle of a live stream. I look up rules all the time when I play, when I'm not on camera. All right. Here we go. So that was a nuts turn, man. Like, more review. I attacked the Writhing Appendage twice. Had to throw away a card. This moved me here. Evade, flip, parlay, move. Thank you, Ace in the Hole. What a nutty turn. All right, Hunter keywords resolved. Pullman's both move there. Baleful Reveler moves here. Revealing 1 token. Brian says, now that was a turn. David Coleman. Also turn. Bananas Action Economy. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's actually good. So I revealed the tablet. So he moves again. Good. Get out the way. Upkeep phase. Abyss. This. Draw a card. Take 2 resources. Alright. Mythos phase. Second Doom. Oh, these guys also ready. Oh, man. The problem... The problem I'm going to have is I'm going to need to get here, and then spoiler alert, I'm going to need to get back to canal side, which is just a lot. Shoot. Top encounter card. Oh, it's a Carnevale Sentinel. I'm so sick of you guys. I mean, I could just stay on canal side until I get the thing that lets me move across, but eventually the encounter deck's going to start making me add damage and horror to the Innocent Reveler, and that's not bueno. So... Lone Wolf triggers. I get a resource. These also all ready. My first action is I'm going to move here. I lose 2 resources. I left Academia Bridge. Fine. What card did I get? I got Hyper Awareness. I don't see the point of view. I actually don't. Do I need more clues? I don't think I need any more clues. Not great. So I'm going to use my second action to move canal side. That adds a clue to the canal side. Um, yeah, really, that's gonna be rough. I have illusions of killing the Baleful Reveler, but don't think I'm gonna have enough of the actions I want to even attempt it. I still can't believe that was the Innocent Reveler. That's so nuts. Definitely made this a wee bit more daunting. I don't know what to do. I have 2 more actions. I can do intel report to get 2 clues from there when I'm here, so I can do that next turn. Do I even draw a card? I mean, don't have a lot of auto evades. I lost my ace in the hole. I am about to get to the bottom of my deck, so I do have chronophobia. I kind of want to get rid of that sooner rather than later, so that doesn't start adding up. So yeah, I'll draw a card with my 3rd action. It is obfuscation is nice. Yeah, and I'll put obfuscation down. It takes up an arcane slot. It comes in. Oh, that's fast. It comes in play with 3 charges. So I still have 1 more action. I will draw a card. If I take 1 direct hard, it's fine. I'll just get rid of this next turn. Oh, it's Delilah. It's Delilah. We're good. Alright. Enemy phase. Pullman. Keep running around like they've been doing all game. Baleful Reveler moves to the Guardian, revealing a token. I would not mind it. Moving him along. Move along. Yoink. Phoenix Knight, I've had to look at rules during playthroughs, but then I'm a detail control freak, even on camera. Oh yeah, easy. Easy, easy. That's interesting. Upkeep phase. This readies. I draw a card. It is Chronophobia. That goes in my threat area, which is fine. I'll just get rid of it. Take 2 resources. Mythos phase. I think I do it at my location. Mythos phase. I put the 3rd Doom on the agenda. It's going to be the same flavor text, obviously. I'm going to flip one of these Mass Carnival goers, and there's still going to be 1 in play, so this goes back to 2A. So I flip it. I know it's an enemy, but I think I'm set up to deal with it. So this comes here. It is Don Ligorio, Hunter. We're resolving the Hunter keyword on Don Ligorio. His location is connected to the location in counterclockwise direction as well as clockwise direction. And now this one is at my location, so I will just kill him for a victory point. Don't mind if I do. We have to draw on a counter card. Acrid Miasma. Attached to the nearest location in the clockwise direction with no acrid miasma. Forced. After an investigator enters the attached location, he or she tests willpower 2. If failed, that investigator must either take 1 damage and 1 horror or resolve the hunter keyword on each enemy in play. Hunter keyword actually isn't the worst possibility here. So, Don Ligorio. Yeah, I'm going to attack him with the Mauser. I have 1 bullet left on the Mauser. I'm going to use High Roller. Oh, Lone Wolf's going to trigger. So I get another resource. I'm going to put 3 resources on the High Roller. And so right now I'm going in at a 4, 5, 6 to a 4. I'm going to spend 2 to bump up Hard Knocks. 7, 8 to a 4 for 2 damage. Yeah. 8 to a 4 for 2 damage. I pull the tablet. I succeeded. I get these back. +3. I only succeeded by 1, so I do not get the... I have to exhaust the Mauser. I don't get the resource or get to ready the Mauser again, because you have to succeed by 2 or more for that, and I put 2 damage on him because the Mauser gives me +1 damage. I'm now going to attack Don Ligorio with the switchblade. So I'm going in at a 5 to a 4. I have to see it by 2 to get the +2 damage. I'm going to bump this up a lot, actually. I'm going to bump it up with 5. And that gives me a 10 to a 4. Because I want to get rid of Carnophobia. So it just makes the most sense. I bumped it up, so it's a 10 to a 4. I have to see it by 2. So -4 is fine. Oh! You gotta be kidding me. I succeeded by 1. So there's only 1 damage. That's really bad. Shoot, that means I'm taking 1 direct horror with Chronophobia. That's could be worse. So I'm gonna have to do this again. I'm gonna do a 5 to a 4. I think I bump up the max here. She would be good. Delilah would actually be really good for me right now, but it's hard to get rid of Leo. 5 to a 4, yeah, whatever. 8 to a 4. With my third action, he doesn't have retaliate, so there's that. I succeed, -3, he's dead. So I only succeeded by 1 the last time, but that's fine. Another victory point, and I'm out of resources. I have 1 action left. I think I just grab a resource. Does it make sense to move? You know what? Actually, I'll use this action to move. That will be good. Alright, so while I'm there, I have to test. I'm testing a 3 to a 2. I succeed, so I don't have to worry about advancing onto keyword, although I think I would have actually rather have done that. So, at the end of my turn, I take 1 direct horror because of Chronophobia. Enemies move. This dude moves. Is it a symbol? It is not. He stays. It was a -3. Upkeep. Ready, ready, ready. Draw a card. True understanding. Take 2 resources. Mythos phase. 1 doom on agenda 1A. And I know what that is, and it's one of the nastier ones. But that's fine. Can't really move very far until the Baleful Reveler passes the Abyss, which is not so. I mean, next turn I can't really get to the Streets of Venice until the Baleful Reveler's gone. And then when he's gone, I can get there. So I got a couple of turns. So we're gonna see that ugly cultist in about 2 rounds. So we draw this. Ooh. It's either take 2 horror or move to the location across from me. Well, taking 2 horror is a non-starter. I kind of wish I was still there. That would have been awesome. Wow. 2 horror. 3 horror on Jenny. Man, I should have stayed there. Strategically, I should have stayed there. That's fine. Alright, my turn. So I need 2 actions to get rid of Chronophobia. I'm going to take another... Oh, shoot. I'm taking another horror. When... Man, I wish I had failed. There's so many tests I wish I had failed. Oh, I could do that. Never mind. Fine, so I took the 2 horror. I spent 2 actions on that. I'm spending 2 resources. I lone wolf it a trigger. I get another resource. And then I'm going to spend the 2 resources to heal 2 horror that's on the Venetian garden. So I'm down to 1 again, which is better. There's not much else I could do with this turn anyway. Enemy phase. Hunter keywords. Activate. Is it a thing? It is not. It's one of the curse tokens. I draw a card. Take 2 resources. Oh, that could be good. I got to think on my feet. I have 9 cards, which is 1 card too many. So I'm going to get rid of hyper awareness. I still think that makes the most sense. All right, that's Arkham 6. Yeah. 3 minutes. David Coleman, 3 -6s in one game. Yeah, it's a little concerning. I put a Doom on the agenda and counter card. Acrid Miasma. Attached to the nearest location of Clock Resurrection with no Acrid Miasma. It's going to go there. Okay. I am going to try to get here on this turn, which would allow me to get there next turn, and I think that's fine. Lone Wolf's going to trigger 4 resources. That's a lot. Think on your feet isn't gonna be great. Alright, I'm gonna move. After I enter the Guardian, I draw a card. Searching for Izzy. After searching for Izzy, she puts a location furthest from me. That's fine. I don't care about suffering mental trauma. So I drew that card. These 2 go into my threat area. I have to test the Acrid Miasma. So I'm testing a 3 to a 4. I'm going to commit True Understanding because this is a scenario card. So I'm making it a 3 to a 2. I'm sorry. I'm making it a 4 to a 2. I pulled. That's a 2 to a 2. And what do we get? -1. So I fail. I'm going to resolve the hunter keyword of each enemy in play. Forced. Yep. So this goes twice. It's not just in the enemy phase where there's triggers. Will he move again? Nope. So he stays there. That's not in my threat area. So my second action. Now, had I succeeded at that test with True Understanding, because that's a scenario card, I would have been able to take this clue, but I didn't. All right, so I need to evade both of these clowns. I'm going to, with my second action, evade with Jenny. So it's a 3 to a 3. I'm going to pump up High Roller to make it a 7 to a 3. Or 5 to a 3. This is going to be tight. So that's going to be 5. I really need to succeed this one. So that makes it a 5 to a 3. This makes it a 6 to a 3, bumping it up with Hard Knocks. And then I'm not going to be playing. Thankful Your Feet makes it an 8 to a 3. Nah, it's 5 to a 3, 6 to a 3 with Hard Knocks. I'll play Breaking and Entering for 7 to a 3. Trying to evade the Carnevale Sentinel. +1, so I get 6 resources back. And I've evaded the Carnevale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He is evaded. My third action, I have to evade Salvatore. Again, what's his evade value is equal to my base, so it's a 3 to a 3. I'm going to use Hard Knocks. I'm going to make it a 7 to a 3. That too hard could be nasty. This is my third action. And if I fail it, it's not the worst. I have some options. 7 to a 3, -4 if you fail and Sanathque is in play. It attacks you. I did not. I succeeded. Yeah, that -4 is a key number in this scenario with this bag. So that's evaded. And then finally, with my fourth action, I'm going to move to the streets of Venice. That goes out of play. And then I'm going to use that ability to move here. And I have no more actions. Right, because I moved, I evaded, I moved, and then I used that triggered ability to move to the San Marco Basilica. Alright, enemy phase. The hunter keyword of ready enemies triggers, they both go there. The Baleful Reveler moves here. We're going to reveal a token. -6, he stays right where he is. Upkeep phase, those ready, these both ready. I'm going to draw a card. and we get small favor, and I take 2 resources. Now, yes, Search and Rescue is just a lost card in solo side quest scenarios. Yeah, a lot of the earlier investigators, their unique weaknesses are just who cares. Roland's is kind of useless. Skids is kind of useless. They just don't matter. Anything that affects your experience or your trauma, like it's not a thing. All right, so I'm here, and somehow I need to get there, and I got 2 Carnevale Sentinels that I have to deal with again. So bananas. So I have no more cards in my deck. Now when I have to draw cards, what I'm going to do is I will shuffle my discard pile and then draw, and then at the end of that entire action, I will have to grab a resource. I will have to take a horror, not a resource. All right, so we're putting the 3rd Doom on the agenda, and this is going to get tight. So, timing is going to be funny. If there's one or more masked Carnival goer in play, there is. We choose to flip it. What is it? Oh no! It's Elisabetta Magro. She's aloof. When you look at Elizabeth Magro using the ability in Act 1, flip her to this side. When the Mythos phase ends, place 1 Doom on her. So, she's going to start being a Doom monster. If there's still a masked Carnival goer in play, flip this agenda back to 2A. There is not. So, we go to Agenda 3. What happens in Agenda 3? In the lagoon, an ancient terror stirs. The creature's tentacles coil around the city, and the water level begins to rise. As if in response, the chanting you hear throughout the city grows louder. After a writhing appendage enters play, place 2 Doom on it. Now, there's a force ability here. If there are a total of 3 innocent revelers underneath the act, enter agenda decks, advance. So, that was the Mythos phase. At the end of the phase, I have to draw a counter card. Test 4 willpower. If I fail, I have to put a horror on the innocent reveler. Not a deal. So I'm doing a 3 to a 4. Auto lose. 1 horror on the innocent reveler. Fine. Alright, end of the Mythos phase, you place a Doom on Elisabetta. Now, there's only Doom thresholds are only 3 on this agenda, right? So something's funny. I'm going to spend my first action to place this underneath the act. Now, there were 3 innocent revelers underneath the act. So that's so far so good with that, and I'm gonna see if we can get the heck out of here. How do we do that? Well, story time with Greg. Many of the revelers are under the sway of a foul spell, and they cannot see the danger emerging around them. You push your way through the crowded streets, gathering a few sane revelers you could find, and guiding them toward the relative safety of the Basilica. As the last of them is escorted inside, the ground shakes violently, and a watery shape looms above the island to the south from deep within the lagoon. Their ritual nearly finished, the revelers in the streets begin to unmask. Put the set-aside Sanathqua enemy into play in the center of all locations. For the remainder of the scenario, Sanathqua is considered to be in play, but is not at any location. The lead investigator chooses a masked Carnival goer in play and flips it to its other side. Well, there are no more masked Carnival goers in play, so we don't have to do that. Act 2. Get to the boats! The civilians in the Basilica are safe for now, but Venice is doomed, and if you don't act quickly, the only way to ensure the safety of the sacrifices is to draw the creature in the lagoon away from the city. Sweat beads down your forehead as you realize this decision may be your last. Legs trembling, you head toward the moored boats docked by the canals. After the Mythos phase begins, choose a Marsh Carnival goer and play and flip it to the side. There are none if each investigator is at canal side. Advance. So we have to get to canal side, and boy, oh boy, do I wish I had the treachery to let me move over there. You know, small things. Or the good thing about my deck having to get some cards back, if I get elusive, there are cards that could really help me do this. So Sanathqua comes into play. Sanathqua has 8 damage, or 8 health, 8 per investigator. He has a combat of a 4. You may, David Coleman says, uh-oh, yeah. Uh-oh is correct. You may fight Sanathqua as if he were at your location. It is not engaged with you. So that's important if you're playing with like Zoe or anything that triggers when a moment of engagement happens, but it's not engaged with you. So he cannot be invaded. After you fail a test while attacking Sanathqua, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a writhing appendage and spawn it engaged with you. If Sanathqua is defeated, advance. Alright, well, shoot, that was my first action. I really can't do much this turn because I'm going to have to do the double evade action again, which everyone's come to know and love. It's what I do. move. And the Abyss will move me fast. This is going to mean we're going through the agenda in double time, so that's not great. So Nazgul gives me 2 damage and 2 horror every time he attacks, so that's also not great. How am I going to do this? Yeah, so I basically, this guy's going to move. My next turn, I'm moving, evading, evading, moving, so I'm going to have to make sure I pull that off again. Oh, Lone Wolf triggers. I get this. Oh, did I already do that? No, I don't think I did. It wasn't sideways, so. Yeah. That is why I do that. I am going to... I can spend 6 of those clues. I don't think clues are going to do anything for me. So I'm not that worried about it. This is where like some experience in the scenario helps. I can spend 4. And deal damage to that guy. That's not going to matter. You may fight. A small... that only works on non-elite enemies. I don't know what I want to do. I have 7 cards, so card draws are gonna be of limited utility. Plus, like, how many am I really gonna? Well, there's 2 cards in here that will super help me. I mean, elusive for 1, warning shot. Warning shot's not gonna help that much either. Just trying to get to Canal Side without any enemies at my location or in my threat area. The problem is that could be 3 rounds before this dude finally moves. Alright, I gotta do something. I'm going to take 3 resources, which will allow me to boost up evades with hard knocks pretty high. That's fine. 3 resources. Action 2, 3, and 4. Never taken the resource action so many times as I have today. Enemy phase. The Pullmans move. Balfour Reveler moves. Please move again. Please move again. Get out! Move again! No, he doesn't. Upkeep phase. I'm going to draw a card. I can't draw a card because I have no more cards. So I'm going to shuffle these. And then I draw. And then at the end of that action, I take a horror because I had to reset my deck. I will assign that horror to my fine clothes. In case I pull Chronophobia again, I think it makes sense to have as much cushion on my investigator card as possible. We're going to go to the Mythos phase. I put the second Doom in play. Again, there's a first Doom's on Isabella. We're going to draw on a counter card. It's a Writhing Appendage. Of course it is. So that's engaged with me. It's fine. We just need to kill it. My first action is I'm going to fight it with the Switchblade. The Switchblade makes this is a 7 to a 2 because of high roller. I'll just make it an 8 to a 2 with hard knocks, so I'm mostly proofed. 8 to a 2. -1. I get 6 resources back. And I've killed the Writhing Appendage. Oh, when it came into play, it should have 2 Doom on it as well. Yikes. Now what? I can do this turn. That's fine. We're going to use Abyss to move me here. They both engage with me. Okay, now it's a free action, so I have 3 more actions. I'm very glad I kept Leo earlier. I almost made a very terrible mistake. I'm not thinking your feet's not going to be useful the rest of this game, so I'm going to commit that. I have a 3 to a 3. That's 4, 5. And I'm going to spend a Lone Wolf triggered. Get another resource from that. 4, 5. I'm going to spend 6, 7, 8, 9 to a 3. There's no point holding on to these resources. So 9 to a 3 to evade the first dude. -1. This is where you're Jenny. You're just like, you know what? It's just these resources. I just have to pass these tests. My third action, I'm going to do a 6. I'm going to commit. I don't want to spend that many. I'll commit unexpected courage. And I'm going to commit 4 more resources. So it's a 9 to a 3 again. It's my third action. I succeed. Pulling really good from the bag, wasting a lot of resources, but don't care. My fourth action, I'm going to move here. When I leave Rialto Bridge, I lose an action, but we're good. I'm with my sister. Huh, Izzy? Enemy phase. These guys go here. I'm really hoping that Reveler moves twice. Please move twice. Please move twice. No! It's one of my stupid curse tokens. Shoot, so I'm going to have to wait another round to get him to clear out. We go to the Mythos phase, the ready, upkeep phase. I draw a card. It is true understanding. I get 2 resources. Alright, Mythos phase. The third doom on the second doom on the agenda, third doom in play. This flips. What does it say? Great tentacle arms covered with acrid slime rise from the canals and lash at you and anyone else unfortunate enough to be in the vicinity. In player order, Tanatqua attacks each investigator in play, regardless of the location. Damage and horror from these attacks must be assigned to an instant reveler first if able, then flip this card back over. So, do I get rid of Leo? Put Delilah out. Those bumps could be useful. Yeah. I'm going to assign 1 each to Leo. And 1 each to me. I'm just because I need to start getting horror and damage soak. Alright, and then this flips back over. It's fine. End of the Mythos phase, this gets a Doom. So there really were 4 Doom in play, because then she should have had another one from last round, but it didn't matter. Math would have been the same. We draw an encounter card. Oh my gosh, another Wrathing. I shuffled this thing. I don't want these Wrathing Appendages. That's super annoying. Alright, my first action, I'm going to use my last bullet from the Mauser. It's a 4 to a 2. And then I'm going to make this a 6 to a 2 with High Roller. Oh, Lone Wolf triggers. I only have 3 actions now because Leo is gone. 6 to a 2. -2. I succeeded by 2, so I can get a resource. I get 6 resources from High Roller, which is just such a huge card. So 3 back plus 3. And that was 2 damage because of the Mauser, so the Writhing Appendage is out. I have 2 more actions. I'm going to put Delilah or Rourke in play. A +1 combat, +1 agility. And then I'm going to move to the Flooded Square. After I leave the Academia Bridge, I just have to lose 2 resources. Alright, we're almost there. Alright, enemy phase. Oh, these should have been readied. Pullman's move. 8, Baleful Reveler moves. He's going to not move again, which is fine. Don't need him to. Upkeep phase. Ready, ready, ready. She should have ready too. Sorry, Abyss. I'm going to draw a card. It is Ace in a Hole. Oh, what a beautiful card that is. I take 2 resources. Mythos phase. I put a Doom on the agenda. That's a second Doom in play. I'm going to put the 1 on Elizabetta now so I don't forget. We draw an encounter card. Again, that's at the end of the Mythos phase, so by the time we check the Doom threshold, she will not have it. So let me not be confusing. So that's a second Doom in play. We draw an encounter card. Mass Hysteria. You must either take 2 damage or take each masked carnival goer, shuffle them, and play. Ooh, that's brutal. So I have options, right? So I either take 2 damage or I have to take each masked carnival goer, shuffle them so they don't know which is which, and place in each location. Now, um, if there was at least one masked carnival goer, I could choose option 2. But since I can't change the game state, I have to take option 1, which is going to give me 2 damage. So I will assign that to Delilah. That's exactly why I kept all these allies, because I knew I was going to need some soak. So Leo is painful to lose, but I'd much rather have allies that can take some damage for me when I need it. Now, my turn. My first action is I'm going to move to canal side. Alright, I'm in canal side, which means, oh, lone wolf for the trigger too. Which means what? We advance the act. Alright, here we go. Revelation, put gondola into play and move each investigator to it. Then remove all locations from the game. Remove from the game each enemy and asset of those locations as well. And yay! So everything gets removed. The doom goes off as Elizabeth. She would have 2 doom at the time she left. But these all go away. And that's fine. All these go away. All these clues go away. These clues go away because it basically got to canal side and I jumped in a gondola because when in Venice, that is what you do. These locations go away and here we are with that and me in a boat. Alright, I can test 2 combat or 2 agility to row as hard as I can if I see place 1 resource from the token bank on this location. However, let me read this. Row. Relief turns to desperation as a creature draws the attention to your gondola. You have only 1 chance if you are to survive. When you draw the top card on the encounter deck, instead look at the top 5 cards in the encounter deck and put each writhing appendage among those cards into play and engage with you. Discard the rest of those cards. If there are 4 resources on the gondola, advance. So, forest. I think. Oh yeah, if when Writhing Defense is defeated, if the Sanathqua is in play, deal 1 damage to it. So I actually should have 2 damage on Sanathqua already. So I can attack Sanathqua from any location, right? So I kind of was just running to canal side because it just made sense, and I kind of figured I feel like I would be able to do that. But now I have 2 ways that I can realistically try to end this scenario. One is I do this thing 4 times, and plus I wanted to get to a place where I wasn't getting chased by enemies anymore, and etc. If I pass this test 4 times, we're good, right? If there's 4 resources, so 4 per investigator, I can advance. Or I can try to kill Sandathqua, but remember, the dude, if I fail, I had to put a writhing appendage in play. But every time I kill a writhing appendage, remember, I'm also doing 1 damage to Sanathqua. So there's like definitely a couple of things. But if it enters play, I put 2 doom on it. And if I get 3 doom when I check the doom threshold, again, I'm going to get attacked by this jerk because of the other side. So, I don't know. I mean, part of me wants to just try to kill it. But it's a lot of actions. I have 2 more actions this turn. I have ace and hole, so I can get 5 more actions. And that's fine. These would be attacks of opportunity. I have the switchblade. I can attack Sanathqua if it's my location. So, but it's at a 4. So, but I have to succeed by 2 if I had any chance. I mean, I have to succeed by 2 if a few times if I had any chance to really succeed there. So I think I just row. I think that's going to make the most sense. I have Delilah. I can do combat or agility, so it's a 4 for both because of Delilah's passive bump. So let me row the first time. I'm going to row with a 4 to a 2. I'm going to commit small favor. I'm using combat 6 to a 2. What's going on? I succeed. So 1 resource on the gondola. We're going to do it again. I'm doing a 4 to a 2. I will commit I'll do high roller, make it a 6 to a 2. Ooh, 4 to a 2. Ooh, auto lose. So high roller doesn't work, so I lose that. A curse token comes out. Oh, get out of the bag. Get out of the bag. So that's not a. If I'm gonna pull the tentacles, it's at least I got rid of one of the two remaining curse tokens. Of course, I buried it. There we go. Out. Get out. Get out. All right. So I failed that test. I do have ace in a hole, so in theory, I could just get 3 more actions to try to get this done this turn. I think it's gonna make more sense to go another round. I mean, I have obfuscation. I mean, there's things I could do if I pull writhing appendages. I'm not that worried about killing them. I want to get high roller back. So, lots of things to just say, let's just kind of do this the harder way, or take one more round here. So, enemy phase, there are no enemies in play. So, because it's not engaged with me, so it doesn't attack during enemy phase. Only enemies that are engaged with you. So it's not like a massive enemy that attacks everybody. High roller readies, lone wolf readies. I draw a card. It is backstab. Ooh, that makes the idea of attacking Sinatqua like really enticing. I get 2 resources. Meet those phases. I put the second doom on the agenda. Now, what am I doing? I'm drawing the top 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is the forced effect on Act 3. Any writhing appendages? No. All these cards are just discarded. Right? We already killed 3 writhing appendages over the course of this game, so it's not surprising to me that there aren't. I forget how many in the deck. There might be 4 in the deck, so maybe that's a writhing appendage, but we'll find out. Now I am rowing. Do I want to try to kill it? I'm tempted. All right, I'm going to get Lone Wolf. I'm rowing. I'm going to do high roller. That gives me a 6 to a 2 with my first action. -4. Woof. I succeed. I get these back. +3. That's another resource on my gondola. My second action is I'm going to do a combat. I'm going to pump up hard knocks with. Let's just go all the way. Second action, I'm making it a 8 to a 2 because it's 3, 4. I just spent 4 resources. 8 to a 2. And I pulled a -1, so it's a third resource on here. And now we're going to last action. I'm going to make it an 8 to a 2 again. If I fail, I can play ace in the hole, get 3 more actions. 8 to a 2. Sinatqua, you're the worst. What do we get? 8 to a 2. Skull, -2. We succeed. 4 resources on. What happens? We advance. Flavor text: the skin on your hands blisters, rubbed raw by the ore, and your arms ache with pain. The creature's movement is slow, its body covered in acrid slime, but its countless tentacles lash at you from the dark waters coiling around your gondola and attempting to pry the ore out of your hands. With a heart-wrenching snap, the ore splinters into 2 pieces, the bottom half splashing into the lagoon. You desperately try to propel the gondola forward using any means you can, but it is futile. The beast gains on you, looming over the boat with an impossible feathery shape. Its tendrils reaching for you. Above it, the black shape of the moon begins to slide. A thin crescent of sunlight pierces through the mist as the eclipse ends, and the creature's tendrils recoil to surround its body. Slowly, it sinks into the lagoon, its body melting as the sun escapes its prison. Dun dun dun! We did it! We got rid of Sinatqua, or at least the sun did. It is a slightly more satisfying experience when you actually kill him. It would have been doable. I felt fairly confident in my ability to do that. I think it's interesting from a design standpoint that I feel like a lot of the scenarios in Arkham give you 2 options. One that's better for like a fighter investigator, and one that's better for like a clue getter, a clover. This option, they're both very heavily slanted toward fighter investigators, right? The combat thing there. So it's a combat or agility, or I could just fight the dude. And it is scaled for the number of investigators. I really would have had a good chance to defeat it. I guess if you're a clover, you're more likely to be able to do a combat or a agility test of a 2 4 times before you're going to be able to get 8 damage there. But I mean, backstab, if I succeeded there, that's 3 damage. And then that gives me up to 5. And then I would just needed to do Switchblade twice, and only one of those would I have needed to win by 2. So, I mean, 3 actions, I really did have a good chance to defeat Sanathka that way. Either way, if we go to the flavor text here, do not read. Nope, resolution. Resolution, what? What is a resolution? Resolution 1. We've gotten to keep, since we had 3 innocent revelers under the act deck. We would have been able to keep the abyss. We would have gotten the 2 victory points, again, just those 2 there, and then we would have been able to take one of these additional cards, which can be really useful in the right deck. And they're 1 cost assets. They don't take up a slot. So again, the risk reward in the scenario is nice. I got my experience back. I would have gotten the abyss. You see how strong she is. I mean, that ability just to move, once free. It's almost like a built-in Pathfinder. Obviously, you're going to you take someone like the Abyss, you start taking allies from the side scenarios, you're going to really want to take a charisma, maybe even 2. Brian says, congrats, game, thank you. David, congratulations, great Telepulp Cthulhu, thank you, yes. And Jonathan's like, yeah, these scenarios are so cool. The side scenarios are very good. Not all of them, like if you're, Rougarou's cool, Carnevale's cool, Abyss, I think, is the difficulty level is just bananas. Labyrinth, okay, don't love it, but Excelsior is great. Outer Gods is great. Really love the flavor and the blob that ate everything. So those are really really good ones. I mean, they're getting better and better in some really really cool ways. And this one, just the the mechanics that they put into some of the side scenarios, I mean, they really at the time were like novel. I mean, you're like, whoa, like you started to realize what was possible with this game, and the design team and just some of the decisions they make are just really, really, really clever from a design standpoint. Where it's like, oh man, so now everything goes away because we're in a canal, we're in the water. I mean, the idea of a trajectory and a narrative emerging as you go through the scenario is one of the best in all of Arkham. So. But we saved 3 innocent revelers. Did that on camera. That was cool. With a deck that I really wasn't that impressed with, man. David, yeah, the hotel one is really good, but Abyss is a terrible design. Yeah, Abyss could be good. I mean, it really could. It's just because you get the explore mechanic in there, but it just falls apart, man. Outer Gods and Blob are great. Yeah, Blob is so fun. I've only done Outer Gods twice, I think. I love Blob. It's such a cool, like, it just has that 1950s bad blob movie feel. It really encapsulated so well. It's super super fun. Outer Gods is super interesting. I need to play it more and explore it more. I know there's those alternate resolutions that I just haven't gotten to in my limited plays of it. But this was super fun. I'm gonna Abyss is why I think it's too hard. I'm probably gonna take Safina. I'm gonna probably get load up her deck with a 29 XP deck and get 3 basic weaknesses, and we'll see. It was interesting to get the curse tokens on here. When you randomize your weaknesses, you're like, oh, really, curse tokens? But it proved to be not that bad. I mean, a lot of times you pulled them, we were gonna fail that test anyway. I think it was like that one time that it really got me. We got rid of chronophobia, and we're still pretty good on horror and damage. So you get high roller working when you're Safina, and high roller and hard knocks I mean, that's really the champion of the day, right? But you see how hard this scenario is. It's tough. You got a lot going on. The enemies are no joke, and just having to figure out how I wasn't getting the damage on those Carnevale Sentinels. It just wasn't gonna happen, not easily at least. So it's like, well, if they're both at the same location, if I can keep getting move, evade, move, and keep getting that's fine. Oh yeah, Barkham was good too. Yeah, laughed hard for sure. I was very impressed with Barkham. I was like, come on, how seriously did they take this? But they legit put a scenario together for Barkham, and the art was very clever. I was very impressed with Barkham. I just thought it was like, this is gonna be a novelty thing and not a very good game. But it's like, no, this is actually a really good game. But I'm a dog lover. I'm not a dog lover, and I'm not a cat lover. And I just thought everything they did in Barkham was super clever, and I appreciated how much time and effort and love they really put into that game. Is there only 3 writhing appendages? That's nuts. I guess the deck's really small, so it's not that surprising. Yeah, I mean this. If you're going through five a turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, plus the two records. Yeah, so there's only like 21, 22 encounter cards. I guess that makes sense. You're almost going through a quarter of the encounter deck. So, oh, is there a writhing appendage? I'm surprised there aren't a few more, but some of these cards can really screw you. Losing all those resources early, I am obviously glad I kept Leo around. It really allowed me those four actions I needed to do the move, evade, move. Skalik, same here. Good dogs for evil cats. like, it's a wonky scenario, man. It's a super. It's fun to play as. My friend played as Duke. I played as was Skid's Drool. It's just like it's really clever. Big fan. All right, that's about it. So glad this worked out. I was again, I wasn't up to my normal. I didn't even do a test run. I mean, this was like literally like I play Carnevale enough. I'll figure it out. But I've been so busy playing Cloudspire the last 2 days that I just haven't really wanted to move on because I was just like dogmatically insisting to myself that I was going to be able to get a couple of games under my belt without realizing halfway through I was, messing up a basic rule or I was kind of figuring things wrong or whatever. So, but yeah, Classfire is cool. You'll see that on the channel soon ish. I got so many too many bones things I want to do, and I don't want to be like becoming like a chip theory fanboy channels. So we'll see. Lovecraft, I disagree passionately. Yeah, probably that. Whatever. I have choice words in my head, which I will just hold. I will bite. I will leave to myself for now. But yeah, dude, like being able to kind of reclaim this mythos and infuse it with like new meaning and new memories and new ideas and kind of take what's good and hold on to what is good and get rid of the rest. It's important with Lovecraft and more than most. More CTG. Ooh, Cloudspire. Yes. We'll see. I mean, I got Hoplomachus coming next year. I mean, yeah, there's always a balance, right? Where I'm trying to, 2 videos a week, trying to make sure I usually have 10 games that I cycle that are in my active cycle, and then I have a bunch. I'll have games fall off and a new game come on. So we'll see. I don't want to get to a point where like half of my games are from one designer. It's a little bit of a mess. David says, "Have fun." Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining and staying with me, letting me know my turn my audio off at some point. Usually not a good idea for a content creator to turn their audio off. I should try not to do that again. But seemingly we caught that pretty quick. But I will wrap this up. Good chat tonight. Fun playthrough. Not always I will get all 3 innocent revelers, but they are happy to be alive, and I am happy to be a part of that. And it's glad we melted. We had the convenient. It was like a plot twist at the end. It was like the convenience of the sun coming out at the right time to melt the giant octopus centipede tentacle thing back into the water, which is totally fine. He just loved cats, but yeah, screw him. Nice. I didn't know that about Lovecraft, but I guess it's not surprising because he was like, I think a male cat lover is kind of gotta be an anomaly, right? And he was a weird dude. Eric Bergman needs to open up my Arkham box again soon. This guy's LTO, the Lord of the Rings card game again. It's really fun. So many good games. It's a little time. Oh yeah. Kappa Hayden says thanks. That was great. Thank you for joining. Good to see some old and new faces and names in the chat. So appreciate that. Obviously, Mrs. Playthroughs did not join us today. Work is getting in the way. I tell you what. Where are her priorities is a question I will continually ask myself. So, work. Blah. Live playthrough with your husband. What could be better? So, anyway, so this was good. We'll be back. I think on Sunday I have a Maids Night coming out. We're doing a Mind's Liberation with Goldix, which is lots of fun. So be sure to tune in on that. I have posted my September schedule. So if you are interested to see what's coming down the pipe for the next few weeks, go on my Patreon page. The link is in the description below, and check out what's coming up. Make sure you don't miss anything you would want to see. And next week, I'm doing a live playthrough. I think I'm my first official live playthrough of Too Many Bones. So I'm going to actually break out the Undertow and go at it. I think I'm going against Colossum with Duster? Yeah, I think I'm doing, because I'm taping Stanza. I'm not doing Stanza live, not the first time. We'll do Stanza live the next time. We're going to do Duster against Colossum next week. So 3 o'clock Eastern every Wednesday for a while. And that's it. So thanks for joining me, guys. and girls, who, if Sarah's still there especially. And until next time, happy gaming.